Welcome to another episode of the Chumps Podcast. I'm your host today, Ernie, and with me is George.
Yo, what up?
And we're trying, Marty needed the week off, so we're going with a Marty-free episode. Yeah, I said it. Marty-free.
Good riddance if he's
No, he's just a little tired, and he'll be back next week, I'm sure. The first thing we're going to talk about is these Konami Rumors. Now, Konami used to make really good games. My favorite series, Metal Gear. They made Castlevania. They made Pro Evolution Soccer, which was their answer to FIFA Soccer. Um,
Silent
but
Hill.
Silent Hill, yeah, oh dude, that's gonna
Yeah.
crap out of me, dude. That's gonna be so bad. But they stopped making games a while ago, and they started focusing on pachinko machines.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty big in Japan.
yeah, but to just stop making games was crazy. And it's been rumored by a bunch of companies out there that they're going to start making games again. How do you feel about that, George?
Well, so far it's remakes, which if they're just doing a remake, they can't really mess it up unless they do some drastic stuff. But if they're actually gonna make like new titles, the last thing I think they tried to make, the Metal Gear Survive, which was pretty shit, and that was without
Kojima's
uh
blessing.
yeah. And he's like an artistic genius when it comes to like making games. Like, sure, it might be weird, playing some of these games, but they're pretty good and pretty fun. But without him, I don't know if they can do it, if they can like live up to that anymore. The remakes, that'll probably be fine. But making anything new, I'm not too sure about them doing this.
So the story comes from Games Radar, and the story is by Ellie Jones. If you guys want to go give her a click, and she reports that Konami is reportedly making Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, and the company. So they're not doing it; they're outsourcing it. So Virtuous is doing it. And now they're a Singapore-based studio who has previously helped port games like Dark Souls to the Nintendo Switch and has helped AAA games like Battlefield 1 and Horizon Zero Dawn, sorry. And now they're apparently Konami's giving them the green light to, all right, go ahead, remake it.
Yeah, like I said, remakes all well and good. Can't really mess that up. But I don't know if they're actually gonna start like continuing their IPs. I just don't have faith without Kojima.
Yeah, and that's how I feel. I am a huge Kojima fan. I have several um, collectibles for the Metal Gear Solid. I met Kojima once.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was at a Comic-Con. Dude, I forgot what year. It was like 20, maybe before 2010. But I was leaving, and he was just coming in through the front door, and he had these two bodyguards in their suits, and he was just like walking in, like, yeah, no one's gonna know me. And I was like, oh my god, Kojima! And I'm like, I begged him to take a photo, and he took a photo, and he didn't look very happy, and his bodyguards also did not look very happy. But he stopped, and he took the photo with me, and it was
At least that's nice of
fantastic. Yes, it was fantastic. But uh, I have the Death Stranding. I have the I bought the collector's edition, the $200 one. So I have the
him.
baby in the jar or in the carrier, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I love Kojima. If Kojima doesn't say, hey, I got you got my blessings, go for it, the studio, blah blah. I don't know if I'm gonna play this game.
Mm. Well, now that I think about it, maybe Konami, will address like their fuck up, like we lost Kojima, but maybe we can collaborate with him? Question mark. That's could be like their one saving grace, because they would want it to be like a continue like the Metal Gear series or whatnot, like Silent Hill, but they want to make sure it's good, so might as well consult the guy who was at the helm.
Right, because for people who don't know, he made the Metal Gear game on Nintendo, or I forgot what was it on the
Uh,
Commodore?
yeah, that was before my time.
Yeah,
I
so
don't remember.
so the original Metal Gear, well, I forgot what system it was, and then it was ported to Nintendo, and then and then they made Metal Gear 2 without his approval, and it was weird, and then he made his Metal Gear 2, right? It gets weird, it gets crazy. But then he finally made Metal Gear for the PlayStation, and it was a massive success. I didn't know about it. I knew nothing about it. The only reason I bought it was I subscribed to PlayStation Magazine at the time, and they gave it a 5. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go buy it, and I fell in love with it. It was a fantastic game. Did you play Metal Gear One? Metal Gear Solid One?
That's like one of the series I have to go back and play because as a kid, I think I owned the N64. When that came out,
Right.
and at the time, the parents, family didn't have much money, and the next
Yeah.
console I could afford was the PS2.
See,
So
I didn't have
I
that. I
yeah,
didn't
I
have
was
the
stuck with
PS2.
N64. Yeah, I had a friend
So
who had PS1, but yeah.
yeah. And then he made Metal Gear Solid 2, which is the one I played the least, which I think everyone is probably the more, I don't know if it's the more popular one, but it's critically acclaimed. It is a fantastic game, even though he pulled the bait and switch. But he made the game, and he said that in the interview, several interviews, like, okay, this is Metal Gear Solid 2. Thank you. I don't want to make any more Metal Gears. And then it became a huge success. So Konami said, like, no, you need to make Metal Gear 3. So he was like, okay, fine, I'll make Metal Gear 3. So he made it, and then same thing when he's doing the press tour, he's like, okay, this is Metal Gear. Thank you, I'm done. I don't want to do anymore. And then Konami was like, no, you're gonna do Metal Gear Solid 5. He's like, God damn it. So every Metal Gear after Metal Gear Solid 2, he's gone on record saying, okay, I'm done. And Konami says, like, no, you're not done.
Wait, I have a quick question. Was he at the helm for production for Metal Gear Rising?
I don't know if he was I don't know if he had a hand in that because one, I don't remember if it's canon, and I'm sure we'll look it
Mm.
up. But Platinum Games made that, so I think Konami just distributed it.
Mm.
So I played that. I played that at a E3. It was a cool game. I liked it. Different, obviously, from the Metal Gear series, but it was a really cool game. Um, and then, are you aware with all the drama with Metal Gear Solid 5?
Um. Oh yeah, like the fight between Konami and Kojima.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was making it, and then Konami was like saying, "Hey, you're over budget. It's not done yet." Blah blah blah. There was a lot of bickering. So Konami released Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, which was like the opening mission for the PS4. I think it was around PS4 launch date, or we're very close to that time. But it was just the first level, and it was a $49 game. I bought it, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think I played it for 2 hours and I was done. And then they finally released Metal Gear Solid 5. But at that time, I think they fired him. And I think Konami, like they were making they were over budget. So they didn't want to spend any more money. They were making them crunch and they weren't paying them overtime. Or it was just Kojima had a really, really bad time at Konami when they fired him. And after making so many critically acclaimed games, they treated him like doo doo. They like, get out of here.
Yeah. At least he got back at him in 5. His name is everywhere in like the title sequence of that.
Dude, I love it. I hate it because like you start the mission, and it says like created by Kojima, blah blah, and then it'll
Yeah.
tell you like, oh, and the Phantom guy, the evil guy is like, oh, this guy's in this mission. Damn it! All right, well, I got to get ready for them, I guess.
Oh, also quickly looking it up. Apparently, Metal Gear Rising is canon. It's in the distant future of 2018, from back in the day, and
Yeah,
it's after events of Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of Patriots. So it's
is it
technically the
really?
last entry in the canonical canon so far in the series.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many people will accept that.
I mean, it's there. Apparently, people in Reddit, it's like, yes, it is canon. Made by the same people, same universe. Takes place after MGS4.
That's crazy. That's funny. But yeah, so they're coming back. Apparently there's rumors that did you see the videos that are in the Pachinko machines?
Oh yeah, I saw what they did, like their like IPs like Silent Hill and whatnot, and it's so sad, man. They could make games, but now they're just the pachinko machines.
Right. And they have Metal Gear Solid 3 cutscenes in HD and they look phenomenal. So they're I think there's rumor that they're going to take some of the cutscenes plus make new cutscenes, and because if you look at the ones in the machine, it looks top notch. So I mean, I don't know. Like I'm excited, but I'm also not excited.
Yeah, just you know, gotta stay on your toes. Have decent expectations. Don't don't get too hyped, but it's pretty nice for remakes. You gotta love a good remake when it's done well.
And
Now,
that's the key.
yeah,
That's the key word right there. If it's done well.
yeah. I mean, they're not doing it themselves; they're outsourcing it, and I guess you gotta have faith.
Right, and then you remember that Sony just bought Blue Point, and there was rumor that they were doing a Metal Gear Solid remake, but Sony announced that they're working on an original title.
Oh yeah, I'm actually pretty excited from their work with Demon Souls and from Child of Colossus, like how they remade those games. Like Demon Souls on PS5 looks amazing. They did a fantastic job.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they do great work. I'm not. I guess I was just hoping for that Metal Gear. They've done amazing work, and imagine if they give them Metal Gear, and then Kojima gives them the high five, gives them their blessing.
Yeah, or maybe like be a consultant for them if they
Yeah,
ever get the approval from like Konami. It's like, hey, we want you guys to make this game, and then they decide, yeah, let's go talk to Kojima-san to get some pointers from him.
and then I don't know if you're aware, but there's also rumors that he's uh, signing paperwork to make an exclusive Xbox game.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, what does that mean?
Hmm. I doubt. Well, I don't think he can. I don't think he can even make like any like Metal Gear games, right? Because that's not part of Konami. It's under they own it.
Yeah, it's
Stuff like that.
Konami. I don't think he
Yeah.
owns any of that. He own
Watch he makes like a new series that's very similar to Metal Gear, but it's actually surpasses it somehow. Just to say fuck you to Konami.
Well, I mean, again, the reason those games are so cool is because they're just so innovative, and they're so crazy and so wacky, and um they're so layered. There's so much stuff you can do that.
Yeah, like I never played Death Stranding, like his newest game, but a lot of people did enjoy the game, and some people it's hit and miss because of stuff. But it's still very it's very innovative game. Plus, they kind of predicted the pandemic somewhat. It's just a delivery man going around to people who are self isolating because of
Yeah.
stuff.
I bought it on the PS4, and then I bought it on PC. I on the PS4, I had about 20-30 hours, and then like I like PC gaming more just because my PC is pretty powerful.
Hmm.
So I bought it on the PC, and then like a month later, they're like PS5 Death Stranding coming. So I was like, damn it. So now do I play on the PC or do I play on the PS5? And that's where I'm at right now. But I enjoyed it. From what I played, yes, it's a walking simulator. Yes, you're carrying stuff, but it's so satisfying. Are you familiar with the game at all?
I've seen a lot like people play it on streams and stuff, so I got the gist of what the game is. I think I've seen so much from it that it's probably not for me to play it, but it seems like an all right game.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just love building roads, and then I log off, and the next day I come back, and they're like, "I go, hey, you got 1,000 likes from people liking your roads." And I'm just like, "Sweet."
It's weird. It's like the older you get, the more you enjoy like the simulator games or like bus simulator or like bus driver simulator or farming simulator, stuff like that. You just enjoy that more as you get older. I
Yeah.
found myself like wanting to buy like farming simulator recently.
I am all about like the base building, the team building. When I played Peace Walker on the PSP, I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be so." It was so cool, and it was on such a weak device. The PSP was pretty weak. And
Yeah.
then when I played Metal Gear Solid 5, and it was pretty much the guts of Peace Walker, and I was like, "Oh, this is so rad." I think I played a lot of it. I don't think I finished it. I got upset that there's supposed to be like a final chapter that never made it to the game, so the game doesn't really have an ending.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I'm still gonna go back. I'm still gonna play it, but I played a lot of it. I'm all about those base building and resource managements.
Hmm.
So I mean, we have high hopes, but another controversy with Konami is they've been making the Pro Evolution Soccer for a long time. I think since the PS2, and they announced recently that they're going to stop making it annually, and they're just going to make as a live service game. George, what was the game called?
It's now been renamed to eFootball 2022.
Yes. So they finally released it, and I believe Konami went on record saying like, "Hey, it's going to be an evolving game," and people were very quick to criticize just how bad the facial features are for some of these players, and these are some of the most famous people in the world because soccer is the most popular sport in the world, and I mean the models look bad. They look really bad.
Yeah, it's hard to look at. Just look up on YouTube, just eFootball 2022, and just look at some gameplay, like early gameplay.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're using the Fox engine.
I have no idea what games run that engine.
I think yeah. So they made the whole engine, and you know if you play Metal Gear Solid 5, it's a amazing engine. Everything just works really smooth and amazing, and it's detailed. And now they use it for PES or for Football Manager, whatever.
Yeah, eFootball 2022.
So back to our first story where they're making remakes. It's not Konami. It's this new company with virtuals. So we will see.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The creator for Spider-Man 2, which is what Insomniac, I believe.
Yeah, Insomniac Games.
Insomniac Games. I don't know if it was like just they went on record or here we go. They said sorry, this report is from Tech Radar from sorry, it's from Tech Radar, and during an appearance of This Week in Marvel podcast, um Roman explained that if the first Spider-Man game was Star Wars: A New Hope, Spider-Man 2 is kind of our Empire Strikes Back. It gets a little darker. So, for those people who haven't seen the original Star Wars and the Empire Strikes Back, their older films,
Go watch it. It's good.
yeah, first watch it. You're doing it wrong. But Star Wars, it was a nice movie. The good guys win at the end, and the Empire Strikes Back. It's different. Our heroes, I don't know if they win or they escape with their lives. Like they're put in a really bad situation.
I guess the closest comparison for like younger people would be think of it like in Infinity War, where spoiler, but I assume you've seen Infinity War. Where Thanos wins, he does a snap, and the heroes just feel defeated.
Yeah, yeah. So Thanos, snaps, he leaves, and then everything starts to fall apart, and then
Yeah,
you know it's just much darker. So from what we saw in the trailer, we got what we believe is Craven
yeah,
talking,
he's like the narrator of the
right,
trailer.
and then it jumps to Venom.
Hmm.
So what are you thinking? Like as it gets, he said it's going to get darker. What does that mean to you? What do you think?
That would mean that one of the Spider-Men, either Miles or Peter, will probably become Venom, like be consumed, and maybe like the next game in the series will have to be like the other one having to you know, you know save the other from the symbiote. Would be my guess.
Yeah,
That
I was. Go ahead.
uh also most likely it could be Eddie Brock as Venom, but Flash Thompson has also been Venom before. But recently they've been making Venom because as more of an anti-hero more than a villain. Because when Venom was first introduced, he was always a villain. But now, in recent times, they're making him more into an anti-hero. So I doubt it'll be Eddie Brock, especially since the new Venom movie has come out. Portraying him in that light. So that's why I'm thinking it could be Flash Thompson, maybe. But
So I listened to another podcast. It's called Kind of Funny Games Daily. It's hosted by Greg Miller and a bunch of other people. They're cool dudes. Really cool podcast. They have a gaming podcast about They have a daily podcast about gaming. And he was talking. They interviewed someone at Insomniac. I forgot who. And Greg Miller asked him like, where during Spider-Man 1, right? Where's the symbiote suit? And that guy responded, "The symbiote suit's so important that it needs to have its own story. It just can't be a there it is. Sure, wear it."
Hmm.
So based on what he said in like 2018, I think, this is going to be like a big chapter. Like it's going to be. I think it's going to end with they confront Venom. The Peter Parker, it consumes him, and then he's gonna go. When Parker wears the symbiote suit and he joins him with Venom, uh, he gets more like agitated, more aggressive. Not him, not the hero we know.
Hmm.
So I feel like he's gonna either just start to get agitated, and eventually he's gonna like hit Miles or do something, and then Miles is gonna be like, "Dude, like what's wrong? Like we need to take this suit off you." And it's probably gonna end with him like losing the suit or trying to get the suit off. And then um I don't know if DLC is gonna take over or Spider-Man 3 is gonna be like, you know, the Venom or the suit coming off, but that's what I think.
Uh, for me, from actually, I have two theories how the game could play out. It's either co-op and during this like you're playing the game and then you get to a decision of like in order to for one you two to having to absorb the symbiote for a specific story reason, and then based on like how many people like Insomniac sees, who chooses to like which character is getting the suit on majority, they can make that as like a canon ending, and it could play into like the next game. Or instead of the co-op thing, which I'm championing, which would be pretty cool. Or in the beginning of the game, you get to choose which Spider-Man you want to play, either Miles or Peter, and depending on who you pick, they're the one you're gonna have to put on the symbiote and or absorb it and get the suit, or it's going to go on the character you did not pick. Depending. I could,
Interesting.
yeah, I could see it. Then that would make things really interesting, especially if you have to put on the symbiote. Maybe you get to use it for a bit, just get like the symbiote powers.
Well, what I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean that would be an interesting take, but has Miles Morales worn the Venom suit?
Uh, no, but I mean, this isn't Simon. This is like something original because they're not. So far I guess the Marvel Spider-Man games, PS4, PS5, they're not following anything canon story
True.
wise, as far as I know, like in any comics or anything. They're just taking stuff here and there. So there's you can make their own unique story to differentiate it from like other Spider-Man media.
That's true. I mean, that would be pretty cool. I also think if it was co-op, it would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. It's more likely to be single player, but co-op would be amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see how what they mean by darker, and either way, I'm very excited to play it because I played the 2018. In fact, I waited and I didn't get the PlayStation 4 Pro until that Spider-Man came out, and I got that red PlayStation Pro Spider-Man. Dude,
Hmm.
I think it's amazing. I so good. The game was fantastic. The PlayStation 4 Pro Spider-Man edition was the controller's amazing. Everything was that they did amazing.
For me, I didn't never got around to playing that game, but I did play Miles Morales, and I did also 100% that game, and that was pretty fun. I enjoyed my time with it.
I got I didn't 100% it. I got to the point where like, okay, beat it again to get the platinum. I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
No, no
that's a
thanks.
we're all busy,
Yeah. Venom. The Venom movie just came out. We're
It
gonna talk
sure
about it,
did.
but it's gonna be spoiler free. No spoilers, just what we like. So don't worry, you don't have to skip ahead. I like Venom as a character. I remember watching him in the Spider-Man 90s cartoon. I thought he was
Yeah,
super cool. He's just the coolest.
yeah,
I
that's how
start
I got introduced to him too.
I started reading the Venom comics, the 2018 run. It was fantastic. It starts off with him like with Null is coming. Um and then if you don't know who Null is, he is Marvel just did a run. He's called the King in Black. He's kind of I believe, because I haven't read it all the way through, he is the king of the symbiotes.
Yeah, he created them. He's like a somewhat of a god, and he just likes the dark. But then once life was happening around the universe, he didn't like that, so he just created the symbiotes to try and conquer and just destroy all life. And he used them as weapons. But then they kind of didn't like that, and they just went against them and I imprisoned them or something, I believe.
So I have about uh 7, not issues, but like the trades of the King in Black. So I need to read it. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
I did read. I started reading the Venom comic book 2018. Then it said like, oh, I was first defeated back in blah blah blah, and then it said like, oh, read Thor, God of Thunder. So I
Mhm.
went back and I read God of Thunder, and it shows him. It shows the God of Thunder, Thor fighting. I think his name is Gore, Gorr, and it's not Null, but he has like his power, and Null is a they call him the God Butcher, which I'm
Mhm.
glad I read because I believe this is what Thor 4 is going to be. I think
Yeah.
Christian Bale's playing the God Butcher. So
Uh, I thought he was playing Zeus. I thought he was cast as Zeus.
let's see. We can
I,
edit
I
this out,
could I
but
could be wrong. Or it was either him playing Zeus or he was playing the God Butcher who was going to start killing off the gods because he just really doesn't like the gods.
let me see here. Pulling up the report. No, yes, he is playing Gore, the God Butcher.
Ah, right.
Have you read that the issue?
No. I've listened to like another like podcast, like an MCU podcast, the MCU crew. I would highly recommend if you like the MCU. But they talked about some of like the lore in that, and I don't know his whole deal, but I think his family or his wife or something was killed, and he just despised the gods,
Yeah,
like
so
something like that.
so this is from 2013, and pretty much he was raised, and then like dude, it's so dark, it's so bad, it's so sad, but I think his parents were killed in front of him, and they were praying to the gods, helping them, and then uh uh he grew up and he was traumatized. He's an alien, and then his wife and I believe his child were also killed in front of him. And he because he lived in a very savage planet, and he kept praying to the gods, and the gods never heard him. So he got this power, and the first thing he did was he went around to kill all gods. He said, "You forsaken me, you ignore me, so I'm just going to go kill you." So that's his arc, and then obviously he runs into Thor, but he killed a bunch of gods. He got a bunch of them.
Yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Yeah, so that should be excited. But so sidetracked a little bit, but moving back to Venom, I like the character. I thought the first movie was entertaining. I didn't
Yeah,
hate it. I didn't
it,
love it.
it was all right, but for after watching the second one so far, it blows the first one out of the water, in my opinion.
Is it MCU good?
It's it's getting there. The jokes are more quippier, like the punchlines are pretty good. Let me see. I'm gonna try and say this without spoiling, but basically, I would call it like a bromance movie. It's just Eddie and Venom just being bros.
Being
It's pretty funny.
okay.
Like Venom is the ultimate bro to Eddie. He tries so hard to be like, "Hey, bro, I got you. I'm your wingman. I got
Well,
you."
well, after the first one, right? He
Yeah.
beat up all the other Venom. So because doesn't Venom owe Eddie? If I remember that movie correctly.
Uh, Not. I don't think so. I mean, they're just
Well,
cool. Well,
didn't they? The other symbiotes come and they were gonna take over or something, and then Venom was afraid of them, and then they're like, "Oh,
oh yeah, because
we'll
he was
stop
like the
them."
outcast of like the
Yeah, he was the
symbiote.
weakling, wasn't he?
Yeah,
So, so they developed a bromance.
yeah. I can't say. At first, their relationship was a bit rocky in the beginning of the film, but then Venom always tries to be his bro and cheer him up and stuff, and then stuff happens, and then now they're even tighter by the
Well,
end of the movie.
I mean, that's tech books bromance movie right there. They start
Yeah,
off rocky things, some happened, and then they like, you know what? No, we are cool. We are tight.
Yeah, I can't stress stuff. Just Venom is just the ultimate bro. He's so cool.
That's funny.
Yeah. Also, I don't know about you, but for me, whenever I hear Venom, speak, because I believe it's just Tom Hardy, just talking like Venom, like they're using his voice. He just sounds like the Cookie Monster to me from Sesame Street. Do you get any of that vibes?
Yeah, yeah, it was like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I told a friend, it's like, or I think I told Josh, it was like, oh, just look at some audio, like listen to like some Cookie Monster, right, and then listen to Venom, and then you can maybe hear the difference or the similarities.
Yeah. I mean, again, spoiler free.
hmm
What your final take? Go watch it. Watch it. Worth it? Not worth it?
100% watch it. A reason there is a revelation that happens in the after credit scene. Now, normally, people say, "Oh, you gotta stay for the after credit scene, right?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." It may I add something, but I am not joking. Watch the movie and stay for that after credit scene. You do not want to miss it. And I can't say anything more because that's a huge spoiler.
What if I have to pee really bad though?
I don't care. You gotta hold it. If you're gonna pee, leave in the middle of the movie. Come back. You need to see this end credit spoiler. I am not joking. If you enjoy anything Marvel, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan, because Venom is part of Spider-Man, you do not want to ignore this.
So you're saying the end credit scene is more important than the film?
I can't say. I honestly can't because that might be a spoiler.
So for those who of you who don't know, Marvel was really bad in the 90s. So what they did was they sold Fantastic Four and X-Men to Fox, and they sold the Spider-Man to Sony. Now they sold the rights. They didn't the movie rights.
Or I guess
Anytime,
the license to use, I think.
yeah. So at anytime you went to see a Spider-Man movie, the money went to Sony. Anytime you bought a Spider-Man shirt, game, or anything, that went to Marvel. So they kept the all the rights to the merchandising, but the movie rights went to Fox and Sony. And under that contract, they had to make X amount of movies a year. So sometimes that's why we got that Fantastic Four that was awful about a year ago because
Feels bad.
legally they have to release a movie every so often. So that's why in Civil War it was such a big deal when Spider-Man came to the MCU. So I mean, I googled it too, and everyone's saying that I don't know what the end credit is, but obviously it's going to be related to some things, and yeah. So yeah. So I mean, I don't want to spoil it. I mean, if you
Mhm.
want, you can Google it yourself.
I mean, if you're smart, you could maybe guess what the end credits is, but I wasn't like I did not expect this at all. I should have expected it maybe, but I did not expect it. I was honestly shocked, and that hasn't happened to me in a film in a long time.
Yeah. So I'm already expecting things. So I'm still going to be very happy with whatever I see, but I don't know what it is, but I'm expecting something. All right. And now for our next topic. This report is from Giant Freaking Robot, and the report. I'm sorry, I can't read that name. Um,
Yeah,
I apologize. I'm so sorry, but uh, what's happening is Stephen Ditko Estate is suing Marvel for the rights to Superman. I'm sorry, to Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. So Stephen Ditko co-created them with Stan Lee, and the rights to Superman was sold to DC for like $100 back in the 30s, and that became Superman became the biggest thing ever. And then they went back and they kind of threw him some money, but nothing for what it was worth. So they're trying to get some of the creative rights back. Now, George, this happened with someone else, right?
yes. In this same article, that apparently Marvel faced some incident with a few years ago when Jack Kirby's heirs claimed that he created or co-created Iron Man, Hulk, etc., and they wanted the rights transferred to them to get the royalties, which they never got some. Just like what's happening with Steve Ditko right now.
Yeah, so Marvel, I think they were going to go to court, and then last minute they just settled out of court. How much? No, who knows? So no one knows if they're going to do the same thing. If they're just going to wait and then settle out of court, or if they're actually going to take it to court and fight it.
I really hope they fight it because, well, big corporations, they didn't create these. Like, if they want to, use them to make money, sure, but they gotta, pay the artists and creators, their due, the royalties. A comparison I like to make is like in Japan with manga artists, they they get paid pretty well if their IPs are successful and whatnot. Like one of the most famous manga out there, One Piece, he is incredibly wealthy and it's pretty good story, but he makes money off of royalties, off of like figures, off of movies, off of everything. If it, See, now that's a good system because it pays the creator, and then everyone else, who's actually making this other stuff, they'll get paid too. But obviously, it's more important for the artists, to get paid their due. So I kind of hope that this situation with Steve Ditko will set a precedent where more of these, I guess, estates or heirs for to people who create like these famous characters, that we all read or grew up with, they just get paid their fair share.
Yes. So this happened a few years ago as well with the Batman creators, where Bob Kane, he said he created Batman all by myself, nobody helped me. But then,
Uh,
go
yeah,
ahead.
the other guy's name was like what, Steve Fishon? I saw a documentary about this, and I'm terrible at remembering sometimes.
Uh, Bill Finger.
Yep, Bill Finger, that was it.
Yeah, so Bill Finger co-created it. I think famous. There's a documentary on it on Hulu where like,
I think it's on Netflix too. I could be wrong. I remember watching it somewhere.
yeah, I think like Bob Kane wanted it to be like an actual bat or like with wings or something crazy, and then the Batman we know with like the cowl and the cape, well, that was Bill Finger. He created that. So um, famously, from when Batman was created, I don't know what year, until Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman was the first creation of Batman that had Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
Yeah.
So that's was that
Oh,
40, 50
I
years?
found the name of the documentary if you want to watch it. It's called Batman and Bill.
Batman and Bill. It was
Yep.
good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very good.
Yeah, I enjoy it too as a big Batman fan.
Yeah, so I agree with you where pay the creators. I mean, sure you can market it and you can do all the big stuff, but if you don't have something awesome, something entertaining to begin with, you can advertise the heck out of it, but it's not gonna do much.
Yeah, it's like they didn't create it, so why do like these corporations, get paid the big bucks when the creators, who create these iconic, characters that people grew up with or are still watching, to this day, such as Batman, Spiderman, for either Marvel, DC, or anything in general, not just comics. You just gotta pay artists their fair share or creators.
All right, and that concludes this episode of the Cheap Chumps podcast. Um, I was your host Ernie, and with me George.
Yay, it's your boy.
And look, I hope you enjoyed it. And we're planning on doing a Venom Let There Be Carnage spoiler cast where we talk about the whole movie. The other boys have already seen it. I haven't, so
Mhm.
I need to get on that. But hopefully that'll come out this week.
Yeah, probably maybe within a few days after this podcast episode, but we'll see.
Yeah. So once again, thanks for listening, and be safe out there.